Good morning and welcome everyone to day number 5 here at the Verizon Game Changers NA Series 1. And my name is Mix. It's such a pleasure to be your host today. Of course, there's so much on the line for all of these players. $50,000 prize pool as well as those precious points leading up to the Game Changers Championship at the end of the year. Of course, at the beginning of the week, we started with 8 teams, but we are now down to just 3 in Shopify Rebellion, FlyQuest Red, as well as Decimate Gaming. In case any of you are tuning in for the first time this week and missed the action, fret not, as we do have a recap covering all of the highlights from this week, so let's take a look.
There to greet. 2 on the just a really nice timing here for Noya.
Nice. No way. No way.
Not again. No flashes.
No way. No way.
Oh gosh. Okay. It has to be good if you're trying to do things like that. Noya's gotten it down to 2. Noya's gotten it down to 1. Time is short again. The great equalizer. Noya. I mean, that was a death trap in every single sense of the word.
Gosh, everything was so good. The setup was so sick from FlyQuest.
Oh, she's gonna get him off! They're gonna yank this thing!
No way!
Here!
Oh yeah, has to go for broke here.
Again? Oh, she's getting another! Comfortable giving up the defuse, the plan, excuse me, and gets the wingman. Dude, there's no way. Another kill from
is
floor.
Floor gonna get?
Too many, and she's gotten a satchel kill. Oh, not again. She's got to know this time.
These kills, but getting past Power Pixel should have been impossible 1v1.
Showstopper through from Zan. Can she find the player in hell? Absolutely not. Power Pixel is holding on to that line. Subui from backside. Power Pixel holds it down.
The corner, and Zan out of it. Lisu though, beautiful trades, finds 3. But they are coming online with the iBuyPower ace here in this. Honestly, well, the whole ace is to punish the Cypher the most impressive to me. They've managed consistent.
But then everything else, just these quick scope. Like, what are these? Surprising everyone in the server, but not herself.
I feel like I'm watching like a montage prefaced by the aliens are leaving us unanimously. Power Pixel and all. That'll counter out the race rocket. Then gets no connection. Damage on the Power Pixel, but they're looking at the classic and time is being bought. Rise needs to hold this halfway. And that means Decimate need to win this fight. Power Pixel gets one. Classic Rise is holding, but forced off. Just not in time.
Welcome back, everyone. I am joined on the desk with Shift as well as Mimi. Mimi, love that Mimi cast. Great games yesterday.
Indeed. Yeah, I mean, they were insane. That last match in particular, going all the way the distance on Sunset. Decimate, I think, really impressing everyone with the upset against Passion Project, and now they're here in the top 3.
Yeah, Shift, I think we talked about it a little bit before we went on broadcast today, but definitely some results from yesterday that I think people would not be surprised by. But as Mimi just mentioned, that upset as we take a look at this bracket from Passion Project unfortunately falling on that 3rd and final map.
Yeah, it was in the fashion of what that series was set up for in the first place, where Decimate opted to play a map that they had not played before, and then Passion Project did the same thing for map number 2, and then like Mimi said, we had a really interesting square up on that 3rd map. But let's not neglect the fact that FlyQuest did put a pretty hefty fight up against Shopify Rebellion in the top side of the upper finals as well. You know, it was kind of a battle on bind that they were able to take away from them, but the other 2 maps were also winnable, I think was the biggest kind of takeaway as we were watching FlyQuest play on both Ascent and Lotus. So sets up for a very interesting day today.
Yeah, I mean, this is a chance for kind of something new in Game Changers. For 8 out of the 10 players in this lower final today, they've never made a grand finals before. Some of them have been there before. Thea and Starbound with EG, Sonder on her time with Shopify Rebellion. But for everyone else, this is really a chance to break through, to show that in 2024 there is so much new talent in this Game Changer scene waiting for an opportunity. And honestly, to show that some of these teams are pushing Shopify close. FlyQuest took a map off Shopify. Passion Project, who Decimate eliminated, have done it as well. So there's definitely a lot of competition, and for both these teams, making it to that finals would really mean the world.
Absolutely. I love all the new blood coming into the scene. Not new blood as in new to the game, but just new to the latter stages of the playoffs, as you rightfully called out, Mimi. And taking a look at FlyQuest Red versus Decimate Gaming, I think we've seen a lot of highs and perhaps a little bit of lows as well on both sides shifts. But really, Decimate, I think, showing that perhaps their passion came out on top against PP yesterday.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, and we kind of talked about this yesterday with our top 4 teams, is it's very easy when you look at the rosters on paper to point to the stars of the show, your Dodo Nuts, your Zan in this particular instance. But the thing that I really liked a lot about what we saw yesterday was it was not just the star duelists. We had a lot of great support plays come through that enabled those duelists to kind of really shine maybe even further than they maybe had done individually in the past. So, it's just really fun to see the growth of these two rosters in particular, especially with, the hefty goal of trying to take on a Shopify Rebellion of whoever gets out of this lower final.
Yeah, absolutely. And that game yesterday, we already talked about it a little bit for Decimate, but the way that they were playing on Sunset was wild. This was the third map, the decider of who made it into this lower final, and this team stepped up. On top of their individuals being insane, they were winning a frankly illegal amount of post-plant retakes where they're just holding on to the spike. It was ludicrous how many times they got away with these heroics. But the thing is, they got away with it. It may have been kind of a miraculous win. It required some crazy heroics, but they are here now in this lower finals.
Yeah, and the crazy thing was, and I don't want to kind of add insult into injury, but if you were to look at Passion Project, they would never do something like that again. 7 retakes allowed, 3 of which were just by sticking the spike defuse. So it's just like, it was a very weird point of how they were able to win the series, but it doesn't take away from the fact that their retakes were super successful. And that was something that they tried to do in map number 1. They found some good success in map number 2. And then when it absolutely came to a head in the 3rd on Sunset, that's their win condition. So it definitely paints an interesting picture going into today.
Yeah, and well, everyone definitely expected FlyQuest to be here in the lower finals. I think most people predicted them to make it to the finals as well. They were one of the 2 favorites heading into this event. Decimate was not. I think there was very few expectations for most of these middle-of-the-pack teams. You look at this roster, only Rise has ever even made it top 3 before. Everyone else, even when they made Game Changers main events, were going out early, were on a couple different mixed pug rosters. It was never really these deep runs pushing it to the best in Game Changers. But on this Decimate roster, with honestly very little time together, this team has built a very cohesive product that is competitive with the best in the scene.
It wasn't just us that enjoyed the games from Decimate yesterday. We got a chance to see what FlyQuest Sonder had to say after that series, so let's go ahead and
should
see
be
what
fun.
she has.
I know Misu on that team, so be a little bit of a friendly match. Yeah, yesterday we just messed up on the micros, but we'll clean that up and make sure to have post-plant mollies for Decimate today. We're not going to pull the fuse on. Not today.
I know it's easy to call out the sticking the diffusers, but you're absolutely right, Shift. It wasn't just that. They also had a lot of great post-plant retakes, as you had mentioned. So all in all, this should be a fantastic lower bracket final, Mimi.
Yeah, and I think, if you're Decimate looking at this series, kind of, painting a little bit of a hyperbole into what we're going to get for prep, I think Decimate has a lot of a harder task in terms of prepping fully for a FlyQuest team. But I will say, I think just generally and at a glance, I think a best of 5 series does give a lot of opportunity for Decimate to at least keep this one close.
It does, but it also is something new for them. No one on this roster has really... I think Rise may have in the past, way back when she was on CLG, but everyone else on the roster, BO5, something new. It's a really deep test for a new team to really show their entire map pool, to show that they can consistently push it to the next level. I think it can give them more maps they're good at, but it's going to be pretty hard to win 3 of them today. But for this Decimate team, I mean, the thing is, you really can focus on the individuals, but what I've been impressed with, honestly, is the synergy. I think they're playing, for the most part, pretty basic comps, a lot of double initiator stuff, but they're executing it really, really well. I think that Rise and Misu, the normal initiator players on this team, have really great synergy. They use the timings on their utility really consistently, and it means that we're having game after game where Zan is enabled to just go nuclear, Sue.
Indeed, and I'm glad that you mentioned Zan. As we think about win conditions for either team, there's no question that team synergy will be a critical component, but as well, Zan and Dodonut, for their respective rosters, carry such pivotal roles, Shift.
Yeah, and it's interesting because stylistically, I actually think these 2 teams square up a little bit better than not just how FlyQuest played Shopify, but also I think just how Decimate had to prepare to try to take on Passion Project, because both of these two teams love to get their duelists entered into the battle very, very early on. And the last time they had played, we saw the face-up 1v1 between both duelists very, very often. In particular, Dodo was able to go 15-11 in First Bloods, 7-4 in particular, though, versus Zan throughout the two maps that they had played. So there's going to be a lot of focus, I think, into how the duelists either find success or don't, because they're going to likely match up against each other very, very often. And the other kind of maybe small point here, when we looked at Zan yesterday, lots of moments where we saw the operator usage play a massive dividend. That was absent when they played each other the last time around. In fact, 0 op kills came through for Zan the last time they had played. So there's a lot of interesting elements that I think really circle around what these duelists want to do and if they can successfully pull that off.
Yeah, I mean, we always have to talk about the duelist head-to-head legal requirement of any analyst test. But the thing is, Zan is such a new arrival to the top level as a duelist player, right? They've been around the scene for a while, but this is, I think, the first roster where they're proving that they actually could be in that discussion for like a top 5, even higher than that, duelists in the scene. When you're looking on the other side at FlyQuest, you have in my money, when we talk about the old guard of like star young duelist players in GC, my tier list goes Fluorescent, Sonder, Dodo Nut. And they have 2 of those players on this squad, one of whom, Sonder, who's now playing that more supportive role. But in terms of firepower for that kind of entry duo, I don't think anyone but Shopify Rebellion can really match in GC, which is definitely going to make that head-to-head very important today.
Now, these two teams have played against each other, as we discussed in the Open Qualifier 1. That time around, it was a bit of a one-sided affair, but some time has passed since then. So Shift, as we take a look at this rematch, what are you really looking forward to seeing?
Well, first of all, you know, the thing about it was, like you mentioned, this was a while ago, but both maps were tremendously winnable for Decimate. And I think that's kind of, you know, this is before I think they were labeled as Decimate as a brand, but that's where I think this roster really started to gain some attention. It's like, oh, we expect FlyQuest and Shopify to be the clear-cut top 2. Some rosters are being reformed or created to try to take them on, but there is a pretty hefty skill gap. And I feel like this matchup kind of got forgotten a little bit going into this whole bracket, because Decimate was definitely in a position to win. And I think the thing on top of it is I would expect to see both of these two maps in the pool again today for a best of 5. So there's going to be some reflecting, I think, from both sides in terms of what went right, or maybe more importantly, if you're looking for the Decimate underdog story, maybe what went wrong, where we can kind of polish some of that up. And I think there are winnable maps here for Decimate. So as much as we like to look at the top heavy favorite side of looking at Shopify and FlyQuest, I would not sleep on Decimate making some noise today.
Yeah, I think FlyQuest, to kind of talk about the mental a little bit, there's a world where you can kind of get fixated on like Shopify is the enemy, right? Everyone thinks they're 1 and 2. I'm sure in their heads they think the team they need to beat to prove themselves is the best in the scene is Shopify. And it's kind of easy to be like, we lost a map to them, and just really focus on getting back to that finals, getting this win, just pushing whoever else is there out the way, and getting to the team that you really need to beat to prove to yourselves that you're the best. On the other hand, for Decimate, they're a team with such low expectations that most people didn't even think would make it to this point. They'd already lost in an incredibly close opening match, 13-9, and in double overtime, the 2 maps that they lost to this team. They have every reason to go out and have this game be the one where they prove themselves. In terms of motivation to play your absolute best, obviously, it's there for FlyQuest as well, but Decimate have to want it so bad today.
Now, I know we've talked a lot about the duelists and the team synergy, but another player that I briefly want to call out before we head into maps is Starbound. She had an absolutely fantastic performance last time around on that Cypher. Shift, that was huge.
And that was a major issue. You know, we talk about the ability to keep your Sentinel not just alive, but also in a spot to where they can dominate one side or the other. That was 1,000,000% the case. I mean, we're talking about a total performance where you had Starbound 46-29 over the 2-map series. I mean, that is more than just participation. That is takeover. I mean, literally only 10 kills behind Dodonut, who often is, again, reaping up teams. So this is an issue. And I think for FlyQuest, you're looking at Starbound to have a similar performance. Otherwise, if you're Decimate, you need to be very clinical, especially from the offensive side of the spike, of how you're executing on towards sites. Because if Starbound is there, you have to deal with them fast.
Now, good news, we do have the maps ready for this rematch of this lower bracket final, so let's go ahead and take a look. And interestingly enough, we talked a little bit earlier about how for some of these players, it is their first time making it this deep into the game. And Shift, I hear you already reacting. This is the first ever BO5 that we're seeing from the side of Decimate. So first opinions, taking a look, Mimi.
Sorry, go ahead, Mimi.
Shift, you want to pop off about the maps? Pop off about the maps.
Look, it's just, this feels like Decimate missed a little bit. How do you let both Split and Ascent get through? That's my biggest worry. And Icebox also, not bad news for FlyQuest here. I feel like this was more of Decimate taking away their worst and not trying to target their opponent's best, which is a miss in my mind.
Yeah, it is interesting though. I for one, I see where you're coming from, but I also think that map veto in BO5s can be kind of fake because you don't get as much opportunity to actually take maps out of the pool. In this one, each team gets one map. Decimate have been banning Bind. The majority of this tournament, it's probably a map they just don't feel as comfortable on to move, so you're kind of hard-pressed to pick a target ban and make that change. Even if I agree with you, it would have been great for them. And on the other side, FlyQuest, I think, having watched Decimate's Breeze, having not really played it themselves, also, we really weren't going to see a world where that wasn't the ban. So really, for me, I think what this has to come down to for Decimate isn't that they're going to have any particular map where they have a huge edge in the pool. I think they knew what was coming, knew that it was going to be this core 5 maps, because both of these are pretty common bans for both these teams, and it's really just going to have to come down to, as kind of silly as it is to say, like individual performance on the day.
Yeah.
This is the kind of setting when you're in a BO5 where it's no longer a test of how can you prep specifically for your opponent and win the map veto and get yourself in a situation where you're extremely ready for it. I think days like this that are super long, where you're playing maps that you're not as comfortable on, so much more of it comes down to the IGLing, the decision making on the fly, those things that can be harder for newer teams. So really for me, for Decimate, the player I'm looking at today is going to be Rise, being the most experienced member of this team, being the leader, to have to, in a very long day, keep her players focused, keep her players in a position where they are feeling good and be able to make the right adaptations to come out on top, and also just to keep the mental in it, keep the energy up for what could be a 5-6 hour series.
Yeah, I think that's a really good call. I'm also looking at M as another potential candidate towards being someone that could really lock things up here, because when we were watching Decimate yesterday on Split, you could very well tell that Zan was just not able to get into a spot where they were able to participate really at all. So that's where my big worry is when you look at maps 2 and 4 again, Split and Ascent. But the 1-3-5 is not terrible news. And I think there's going to be some reliancy towards, can Rise generally play better as the initiator on the maps where Decimate necessarily don't like to see. In particular, that Split is the one that really kind of stands out to me. So I think a lot of tone setting has to happen here in map number 1. And I hate to kind of put the frame on, this is a must win for Decimate, but it really does feel like that, considering that Split was so poor for them yesterday, and it does wait in the wings for map number 2.
Yeah, I'm also interested to see if Decimate stick with their comp that they were running last time on Icebox. They were running Gecko, Harbor, Viper, Reyna. Very unorthodox comp on this map. You sometimes see the Harbor Viper, but normally you have the normal trimmings of Icebox with there. Sometimes you see the Gecko comp, but normally that's replacing the more default. I didn't get to watch that series, but they did get 7 rounds off Shopify with it. So that's going to be really interesting to see if they go back to, and how FlyQuest playing not quite the default comp that you used to see with the Sage, but the KO variant that a lot of people are playing these days, how that's going to play into one of those more wild comps.
We're about to dive into Agent Select in just a bit, but Shift, I'm curious, given what Mimi just raised with the comp that we just saw, what are your predictions? Do you think we're going to be seeing something similar this time around, or a switch up?
I don't love the idea of it, because defensively they really, really struggled. But looking at it, they are going to kind of stick to their guns. So there's a lot of, I think, intrigue here, just based off the fact that when they did play Shopify, they didn't really get a chance to play attack because they went 2 for 10 on the opening defensive half. So that will have to be better, because it is the exact same composition for both of these two teams. It's going to be interesting.
You guys have watched a KO comp before. You likely know how this one plays. But to talk about Decimate's comp a little bit. On defense, win conditions of this comp. A, stall. You have mollies on your Viper, your Killjoy, and your Gecko. You have tons of util to deny plant and buy time for rotations. That's step 1. Step 2, flood retakes. and forward fighting, super strong when you can Reyna Leer and Gecko Flash in combination. Those two, if you pop them up at the right timing, both are pretty much impossible to break when they're both there at the same time, and you can get really easy forward fights. So FlyQuest is in one position, say in these post plants, they can really get punished. The Harbor also makes them really mobile. They're able to push up down B. On retakes, they have util that is super punishing if FlyQuest is caught off site. So for me, I think this first half is going to be defined by the retakes and how FlyQuest can fend them off.
And quickly notice that as we're going through who's playing those agents, the one person we didn't talk about is Zan. So you're really looking at the supporting cast here to really help Decimate be in a fighting position here in this first half in particular.
Well, I'm getting news that map number 1 for this lower bracket final between FlyQuest and Decimate Gaming is ready to go. So Van Saley and Rippenton, take it away.
Thank you, Smix, Shift, and Mimi. Yes, indeed, a BL5, another one here, Riv, where we have a chance now between Decimate and FlyQuest to go head-to-head and not only get a revenge against each other, but a chance to also get a revenge in the main event, in the grand finals versus Shopify Rebellion. But now in this BL5, we're starting things off on Icebox where it's going to be quite interesting. I do agree with Mimi when we're looking at the composition for Decimate, you're like, uh-oh, what is this going to look like? Because it didn't look too coordinated versus Shopify Rebellion, but then again, you are playing against SR. It's not easy to play against a team like that.
True, and I feel like there's so much that you can do with this composition too. We will have to see. It looks like you can get some sick retakes in. There's still sick delay that comes with this composition with the util. And FlyQuest, a lot of what they have been working has been off the ball, right? You do a lot off the spike where that's going, and then you come back and you re-hit, trying to get these double initiator squads, which we're not seeing here, but just get that initiator util out to start. Here we see a hit. Pretty default right now is they're going to scale up with the drone. Should get some free space here, and again, we'll see that bit more of a retake from DCM's defensive squad.
Exactly. They were looking to play more of the retake style. A side that was more difficult for them as well against Shopify Rebellion, only getting 2 defuses in the half. Hopefully they get something done on this part, but it's not looking good. 3 already instant falling, and Zan Carey being the last remaining in the back of Heaven. Beautiful kills to start things off on the Heaven side, but finally the action calms down for a bit. FlyQuest has an opportunity to set up in the crossfire setup, and first contact will be right there at the screens. Carey falls, Zan as well. It's a round for FlyQuest.
So they do have a lot of utility to get into the site, but Dizzy can only find so much, right? FlyQuest was nice and scaled up. You don't have that Sova for the side of Decimate, so Dizzy can only really see one. That's a hide, and it's not really a confirm on who it is, which might give you a better idea of how FlyQuest was pushed up or how they might be playing deep into the site. So it does become harder. They still trade out a lot of frags, but FlyQuest just too rooted into the site to be pulled out there. They pick up pistol. Little stack towards B for DCM. You might just see this harbor wall every time for a delay. What would be that side of the map as FlyQuest choose to hit A one more time before we get to our bonus round, and they should be able to sink themselves in pretty good here, just like Pistol.
Yeah. The thing is right now is, although this retake for DCM might be difficult, the walls that we're seeing from Mizu so far does not cover the mid take. So that might be a little bit off there if they're trying to play more aggressively, and especially with this composition. They're going to have to fix that wall a little bit. But this time around, here comes the flood behind the wingman's beautiful flash. So many players falling down. A 3 versus 1. A nice little post plant hold, and I love the fact as well that we always rather see Starbound in a second, third round outlaw. It feels like they love this weapon, and they're probably the player that uses this weapon the most from what I've seen so far here, at least in North America.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels really good, and you're still doing quite a bit of damage. Killjoy having to grab a bunch of utility every time, too. If you can hang on to that and make it work, that's fantastic. You're just able to get yourself your util back over and over. These frags come in, just a simple A hit once again. And it seems like FlyQuest is not going to put up the wall every round. Thea's keeping that 4 hits. So they're keeping wall, not even for, like, potential press towards B. Oh, there is that outlaw. Good return on investment, Van Silly. They start off going A again.
100%. And there's that composition trying to play aggressively with this comp of a Dizzy and a Lear together. But it's a beautiful setup we have. Another contact from the Outlaw into Evlua. There's that rotate out from Carry. And this bonus round is converted by FlyQuest. So I like the idea, at least Rift, to start for Decimate. They wanted to try to fight behind the wall and not try to get that space over to FlyQuest. They had the perfect stack as well. But unfortunately, you're still playing against a very ironed out FlyQuest that is good on these trades, good on those fundamentals. And you got to be a little bit more on point on those.
And it looks like they're going to go A again. They know what the utility looks like. And honestly, I think they're going to go A until they find the Killjoy utility move. And then they might go B. They are just trying to set a precedent here for DCM to get that utility moved around and really start to mess with how they want to set up. A again. Vans, DCM's ready with the stack. Decimate here with some pretty powerful weaponry. Two shots on a crossfire, and they're going to be dropping opponents.
You really don't need to do any type of conditioning so far when just the basic running the site and running your trades is coming in your favor. So there's the flashes coming out as well. Beautiful shots coming out from Zan at least. That's coming all the way back for 10. Dismisses away, makes it out, picks up a weapon, and looks back towards the generator. This wall that comes down, nobody's watching it here. An opportunity to get another kill. That's a third now for Zan. Donut running through the wall, low HP, hit by the snake bite, looking to fall away. Jiggles away, of course. But there's a flank coming through. Finally, something on the Thrifty here that we see. Donut trading it back. There's that flank. Starbound's alone. Gets that spray. Back against Rise. Trying to clear out towards the generator. But we're still back on a 1 versus 1. Trying to flush out opponents. Flushed at the top. Rise is at the A tower and rises to the occasion to allow Decimate to get the Thrifty.
So big, the Death said it. One person that the team would love to see step up because it's someone they can get behind. It brings that momentum in. Is Rise. 2 kills last round. The pivotal clutch kill this round. Playing it so smart around the site to get Starbound mixed up. And yeah, Rise comes up very, very big there. And they're going to have their buy. Decimate might have had a low buy into this, but they feel so much better being able to kick back right now because FlyQuest looks so confident with those A hits. They needed to be able to stop the bleeding, and they did. So FlyQuest quickly go for a 1-3-1 right towards mid. Oh, ships in the night.
Might be able to backstab through the orb, though. They're going to hear all of these footsteps. That double push, then at the point once again. Snakebite underground. They got caught. No trade on from behind. Even Carry and Rise are able to come in for the support.
Thrash already. And they're just waiting. They want to see a move. A little confirmation on where they might thrash.
Wait, it's not clearing the jet. This might be an easy kill. Donut, easy one onto Zan. Unfortunate there. That might swing around back and forward in favor of FlyQuest. Finally, Rise runs back in, gets that pick. Hunter's Fury available for Lace, and looks like at the mid round. We're just going to try to cut noise here and try to catch some players off guard. You already see here, Mizu's watching that flank. The orb's now going to get picked up here. We could actually even cut noise and re-hit with a KJ ult back towards the B site. It just depends now if they want a full cross against Mizu here.
I think they do. This is going to be such a tough swing. It's at the end. Do they give it up?
30 seconds left. One enemy
what a
remaining.
Lace trying to swing back out. Mizu is so good. Yeah, the sliver. The reaction time you need on that pick. That was nice by Mizu.
Gross. And Mizu kept closing it too. It was wide, and like, you know what? No, maybe. The timing was perfect.
Her face probably had to be like half an inch from the monitor to make sure she lands that shot.
Redgar style. Yeah, that would have, and you know they might have even used the lockdown when they got there, but now it's ready for this round. Mizu comes up with a big 2, another round for Decimate there, and they didn't lose too many in the process to grab that one. And a great mid pressure here. So Decimate as well, trying to push down mid again. Another round in a row here. FlyQuest is going towards this A strat. A rinse and repeat with the lockdown this time.
For FlyQuest, they're finding a lot of success actually just hitting hard towards the A site. So they'll do it again. And the thing is, the turret broke early. So they're always going to have Starbound watching this flank right now, even initiating and engaging a lurk and a flank very soon. but a Reckoning comes out on the defensive side. KO comes out to try to delay on the other end. Sonder falls, trying to delay the time for the lurk to happen. Meanwhile, Donut does get the pick. Zan trying to clear out the site with the rest of her teammates. Thea does get the first pick, and Donut with the second one. This might turn around once again for FlyQuest. As a round for the 410, Rise answers right back. Advantage still comes out, though, for FlyQuest by
Hunter's
one
Fury.
player with the spike down. There's Starbound moving in towards the screen. A 1 versus 1 at the tower. There's that lurk from behind. The headshot to Rise. Solo is Luo. Back to a 1 versus 1. But they'll get the defuse because of the wingman.
Oh, yeah, difficult in that situation. I get looking for the fights. The wall goes up. Emuo playing the gas cycle perfectly, and you don't want to. You don't want a Hunter's Fury wingman because somebody's going to be right on it. You don't know if it's half, and just a lot of hesitation. And I think because Donut was up on Raptor in the site, it seemed like they had so much more control for so much longer, but it wasn't there. Yeah. And then DCM just folded into the site, and where the FlyQuest members go, that happened so quick. All right, straight towards the tube. Yeah. Donut wants to get some action on the Sheriff right away here as the team backs him up with this push.
Dizzy being thrown out too. That's going to blind both, but they get the kill blinded. Zan trying to trade off the 2. But as soon as the Dizzy doesn't get the goop anymore, Gary pushed forward. They did not expect another player pushing up. So unlucky there. Starbound answers back. That's information at least. On the mid side, nice shot by Donut. All right, we might potentially have another 1v1 at this point here, but Mluo does not decide to push out to get the pick onto Donut. So huge advantage for FlyQuest on a Thrifty. And I think it's going to be one of those games here, Riv, where you're going to get a lot of hero plays that really turns the round over.
What is up? Okay, so Decimate yesterday had a ton of ecos. So did the opposing team. They actually tied. It was like 1-3-1. As this goes in, hang on.
Yeah, the eco might be denied. And indeed it is.
Died.
Blue comes in with the second kill. And that'll be the clutch moving through.
Put the mega curse on that one. That was my bad. My bad. Big kills by Mluo there. Like we said, really working that A defense last round with the gas for the team. Here able to come up with 2 big frags on re-entering from screens. A big read. You see those 2 post plants are diffuses. In this push here, DCM pushing mid tube, pushing B long.
Enemy remaining.
They are active right now, or green, if you will. They are super active.
Definitely felt like those moments where you might get a pick and you think you have an opening there because, you know, FlyQuest hasn't really worked towards his B side as well.
Right.
So they probably thought nobody was over towards that B side. There's still so much time left on that clock, though.
I mean, you saw the freedom Lace thought she had. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Another push. There's no freedom to be had. Holy moly.
Definitely warmed up for Decimate. Knife is going to get some information at least. You have Zan that's suppressed. I think they caught another player as well. Yet, FlyQuest still looking to commit towards the A side. Zan trying to find a timing.
Trade.
A great way to even things up in a 4-4. But, I mean, look at Starbound's position. They're really trying to play cut noise like a default and try to punish over this double flank or the double push that they've been reading for FlyQuest's side on mid earlier on. But nobody's doing it for Decimate this time around.
Cut noise. Decimate with the prediction that there's going to be a walk-in here. So they go ahead, at least slow that down as they position for a retake onto site.
Wow. Wall contact first as we made it through. Recon Dart confirms that nobody's in sight. They could hit after this. Thea's going to set that up, maybe from the tower.
Trying. Yep. Just get a little closer.
But a lockdown could get stopped by the Hunter's Fury here by Lace. She's repositioning instead. Gonna let that lockdown go. What? Okay. Thrash coming out at least. I think we're gonna get some players to team from Rhea. Oh no, he got broken. There you go. They got dead util to stop it. Carrick gets the kill onto Thea though. There's only 2 players left for FlyQuest. Against 4 of DCM. Tap on the spike, forces out the ult. Counter pit that we saw here from the defender side as well. Starbound with 2 nice shots though. Spray with the 3rd.
Starbound.
And that's a spike down. There's only 1 left. Shot guards coming through. You don't even need the lineup. Starbound doesn't even need walls either. That was kills through smokes to save the round for FlyQuest.
Over and over. The smoke's not saving Mluo and Decimate on that one. I believe it was Sonder with a fragment that huffed it over screens as that came through.
Good call.
And I was like, okay, that fragment went out, and I was like, oh, okay, there it is. I wasn't even sure at first, but yeah. It definitely, I think, caught FlyQuest or DCM off guard as well. They expected to have a lot more free ground to be taking there. So 4-4 now. FlyQuest grabbed back a very quick ground lockdown now, up for Starbound. A just seems to be the play. They like what they're seeing. They like how they can defend it here with the post plant. They got a lot to throw at that spike as they're off. You got Saunders, Util, Laces, and Starbounds. Althea's as well, if it's still up after you're getting into the site. So slow play on this one to get the lockdown in.
Yeah. Woodman still up here for Rise. That's been something hard to deal with on these retakes for Decimate, but it looks like FlyQuest, they want to push a little bit more forward. Less lineups, more pushes towards the back of the site. Lace is trying to find a timing. Here's all of these footsteps. There's that lineup on 3. Nicely done. What a great timing by Lace to get the 4K.
No way. They rely on the wall to cover anybody coming in, and everybody relied on the wall. They were all so sure that someone would cover the right side. That just becomes a kind of tunnel moment in a beautiful control of the trigger coming in from Lace. Oh, you love to see it. Anytime, anyone, any team, when you see those shots, you love it. All right. So DCM trying to figure out how they can get back, because FlyQuest are going to feel good after a round like that. Being able to get in your opponent's head so much that the retake is just completely eliminated right off the bat. They're going to go B on it. So many rounds towards A.
Felt like the knife was supposed to go towards yellow, but it just hit the top of the garage. So we're going to have to readjust right now on clearing the site. That calls out an early owl drone. And maybe even early recon dart to clear towards yellow. So that's less to look behind the Viper wall. Thankfully, though, here, Riv, it's an eco for Decimate, and they're all at the A site. So there's no shenanigans, no surprises, at least for now.
Little lateral pass to Sonder. No command is now... well, alrighty then. Absolutely not caring. They just want to keep this momentum flowing and will not allow this util in for the beginning of the spike.
Yeah, secure the round. Corona just maybe saw a sliver there looking back towards the spawn that was in duo. Even
and the 0.
More. Yeah, 0 point. Late lurk from Starbound. Things are looking pretty good here for FlyQuest too. Oh my god. Okay, so we have Lace and also Starbound not needing to see their opponents for these kills. 2 left alive, head-to-head, a triple. So that's 7 kills in 2 rounds for Lace. On fire, already 1 away from a Hunter's Fury. So despite this round, Riv, with Sonner already popping out the null command just to secure the round, we're actually starting to cycle the ults quite well for FlyQuest if they want to engage in controlling an orb in round number 11.
Yeah, it's working. You know, they say use your ult when you get it, because that's how you get it back. That's how you use more ults, and it seems like they are subscribing to that right now. Decimate's going to go ahead and call the timeout. They've had a good read on getting themselves into position in the site. A lot of the times it's you know, Ben Emluo and the team, we say using that gas wall, but I think the flank needs to be stronger at this point. They need to make the post plant a little bit tougher from the backside here on the flank. Otherwise, FlyQuest just continues to rain down bullets and util into the site, and every time where they plant, it just becomes impossible for Decimate. So
yeah,
a little more pushing. Decimate, I think, had great control of the rounds, Vansili, when they were pushing B. Obviously, they won that one, but the tube pushes to get FlyQuest off their toe, or off the off their kind of game, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Play a little different.
Exactly. And even when it comes down to not using any flanks, you saw that little jump from Lace behind enemy lines right in the midst of the battle. So just trying to make sure that you're ironing out who's watching what when you're doing these retakes, and especially when you have a comp that allows for you to flood a little bit more here with Decimate. You have to watch each other's backs rather while you're pushing through. So be aware of those. And now with this timeout coming out for Decimate, not really trying to fight as aggressively. They've made it on the top of the pipes for Zan. Got hit by the knife, which pivots FlyQuest for more mid control.
Wow. That's right.
Wait, got through the alarm
right
bot.
over the alarm bot. Yep.
No.
That's nutty.
Now it just depends on the off angle. I mean, the knife spotted Zan, remember before, so they know there's 2 players in the site. So just trying to win the duels right now is Decimate's game plan, and they do so. There's that push. Beautiful hold by the anchor players. The remaining players from Decimate in the A site. Spike is down out in the open. Hunter's Fury does not get the contact. Miso should be able to stay alive now, as the third pulse doesn't come out. Allowing now FlyQuest to pick up the spike and move towards B.
And no right living there. Dead to rights on the dive in the site somehow with the hope of Zan come up with everything, Vansili. Yeah. Oh, that looked like FlyQuest round. Decimate. What a great rebound on that.
Second Nanostorm just got popped off, though it might give a chance here for FlyQuest to go for a plant. Reckoning up and available that can help if they want to overkill the retake. At this point, trailing behind by 2. Know your trades are good if you're able to find that information. I wouldn't be surprised if they use it at this point. All of them grouped up now towards orange. You already see him leaning and aiming towards that back. And here comes the audio cues. Although it's a trade 1-for-1, lays down at 30 HP, has to dance around. Dance the hedge onto Miso, keeps spraying, but then runs out of bullets. And timing once again out for Mluo to win the 1-on-1. Despite this not really being a clutch here, Riv, this is what, 2 1v1s that she's won and a 1 versus 2.
Exactly. Wild stuff from Mluo right now. Was actually popping off in the last series too. Quietly coming onto the radar again here with these end round plays. And yeah, Vance, that's a big round for Decimate. 1, because they win. 2, because that was their timeout. And if they would have lost off a mid push on after like planning a timeout, that is going to hurt. They recoup mid-round calls from Miso and Zan covering the site. Beautiful stuff. So FlyQuest do not get that round. We're almost tied up here on the first half. And they're expecting a bit of a push through mid. You see a lot of pings going there and into A. So, man, FlyQuest just realized A has been the play for them over and over. This drone won't be scaled on as hard as usual, so it actually may end up differently here for FlyQuest. Just a slightly different look in terms of pacing.
Yeah, playing it safe too. The Owl drone to push players back and even getting a knife onto the tower. And I think that spotted what? The Harbor and then the knife on 3. Yep. So look at that instant pivot towards B.
And they get this push on mid still too, right?
Exactly.
Oh, just a little,
forced to fall back
tempt.
Yeah. A turret allowed Miso to swing out and almost win that fight against the lurk that you saw from Starbound. Making a lot of noise here. It's a 1v1 at this corner. Turret's going to spot Rise. Alarm bot on top of that Decade. But let's say we're playing safe here for Starbound. Most of the action is going to move towards the B site, and where Starbound just got spotted crossing over. They're going to stay back and still go for a late lurk once again. Here's the execution towards the B site. You have the Dizzy being thrown up. Zan gets the pick onto Sonder. Where's that lurk? Looks like it's turning back towards green. Thea with a shot onto Mizu in the interim as a spike is planted towards the B side at the default spot. Zan trying to get a timing walking forward. Spotted by Starbound. Here for the rescue. Spots the other one towards yellow. Calls the audible for Donut to get the pick. And FlyQuest. They finished the half at least with a lead by 2.
Switching sides.
Just soaring on through. Making it look easy for the last one. 7-5 now as FlyQuest now onto the defensive side. And I think we're going to get to see now how vicious this composition can be here coming in from Decimate, or at least it should. It looks like it can go hard and possibly make it Zan make it their playground. So a few ghosts there. Not going to go for any leers. Just leaving that up to the Dizzy on the flash.
Yeah.
All right. Mluo again with the Viper Bite at the end and some armor. Looking to either be the front or the post plant to stay alive on the lurkish play. Alrighty. Somewhat a default setup with members just to read the map. Oh no, just to throw out a cascade. So a little ruse towards A, but here come FlyQuest right up mid.
Not even afraid. Underhand flash. Now contact comes in towards green. Instant rotate towards the B side, and we've lost Torbound though. And because of the default that they had, both controllers on mid and A, that cascade that went out, they read it perfectly to pivot back towards the A site, orb up for them to cross safely, and leaving carry on the late lurk. This is looking really good here at Decimate to win the pistol. Oh, no way. Oh my God.
That's terrifying. The push is there. Oh, Carrie's going to have an amazing flank on this one. The timing's going to be absurd, but is it going to be fast enough? It looks like Fly is trying to move pretty quick here. His plant just goes down. Everybody's going to be inside.
High Tide just came down, but they were using that for the delay. There's that fight towards the back. Thea's going to win that one. Of course, his 2-per is back, but nobody's going to put into account that lurk coming out from Carrie. Jumping inside the site. Playing very passively our DCM. Dodonut gets the pick, though. Finally, here comes Carrie. There's that backstab on the Dodonut. Going up the ropes, leaving Lace alone. And Lace is forced to be off the spike as well. Yeah, and even throws a Nanoswarm on top. Beautifully done by DCM on the aggression that FlyQuest is trying to do on the mid to B pitch.
Whoa. DCM. Sweet macro on round number 1. And honestly, how many shots were put into that box just in the hairline? That hurt. When they go back and watch the VOD, it's going to be like, really? Really? Oh, you do your due diligence, and it was just a little off.
I was just going to say quickly, good thing we have real hitboxes unlike other games.
Yeah. Oh, dear.
Oh, shots fired.
Bam. Nukes fired. All right. Push up towards A now. It's not going to stop for FlyQuest. They're low by rounds. They stay pretty active here, hyper even in these past series. And the B push is going to happen again for DCM. Should be pretty easy. Wonder who they give the spike to. It's just going to be Gecko Plants at this point. Easy enough, even with the safety of it being a low by round.
And I felt like this could have been that piss around that FlyQuest could have done there when Starbound's setting up towards that B side with their utility. Maybe they could have been the one that was watching that green while that double push is going down towards middle, just to allow more maneuverability here between Sonar and Donut on that mid push. This time you see that delay, allowing all of FlyQuest to move forward as a team, and they're just going to try to flood through here off the harbor wall. Nice opener from Donut, though, right to Classic out to Zan. There's the pushes forward, and Classics are doing some good damage so far. As now Molly, low HP. Carrie gets picked off by Thea. Suddenly we turn it around. Advantage for FlyQuest. Looks like Lace is ticking up on that spike. A 1-for-1 halfway now. The white swing out, and Lua once again is saving these rounds back to back and non-stop here for Decimate.
Oh, the spike almost went off. They save another round. They take so much damage. They get the spike down. Let's see this again. FlyQuest just throw themselves inside. I love it.
One enemy remaining.
They clean up the pressure. Emluo with another 3. Nice little top-down view for that replay. And it's going to be the low buy here for Decimate. FlyQuest is feeling pretty good about the momentum they could create off of that. But Decimate still running these funky strats. This will be the first time I think everybody's in one spot to run it as they try to push pipes off early. They don't have the Sova drone, so they have to do little things like that with Mosh just to make sure they're getting this space clear and they're not going to catch Dodonut shooting them in the face as they come flying around the corner. They may not have the timing on this B push, though, as it looks like A will be free space for Decimate.
Yeah, this is actually quite nice. The way that we're scaling up the map here, it's well drilled indeed. The orb's going to come out to try to get a replant at the same spot so they can play here from the pipes, play from the tower. But Rise is stuck inside the site, forced out with a trash. Stopped instantly, picks it up, bowls away. As here comes a flood back from FlyQuest. First contact won by Zan, and Lua with the second one. Zan's just ready to fight. I love what I'm seeing so far here. Just let the person be at the forefront, fight everything. Well, even the trash comes out just to make sure. And Zan, of course, they talked about it on the desk yesterday where, you know, you don't have these opportunities to put Zan in a situation where she could actually pop off. But when she does and when she forces the fight, you know she definitely has the mechanical skill on this arena, on a jet on top of that to be able to win these rounds. And just no need for the rest of the team to play these lineups after that.
It's ridiculous how much reconnaissance Zan is getting out of the dismiss, too. That's there was one at Green when they were at B one time where they were able to kind of suss out who was at the end of it because of a kill, then another dismiss. Like, doing such a good job of info retrieval in that split second, a little window that you have as Reyna. Again, repeat here onto A, Mosh towards pipes. And they get themselves slowly moved up with this cascade being so safe for them, even from a rafter peak. But the sheriffs are looming. Everybody's going to stay quiet until they get an angle peek here. That's a Dizzy pickup. They're going to have to use Dizzy to get the Mango broken.
And that's the thing. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Kurishot's also one that's coaching for DCM, and you see the method where they scale up towards the site. When they molly towards pipes, they go for the Lear close range. The Dizzy's going to look towards the back of the generator, so that Zan gets this upper position on 410 so well. And now with that, you have this high tide that comes through. You split out the site, and FlyQuest had to figure out a way how they can break the scaling if they want to play in front of that, especially when they're actually holding a little bit more slowly behind the cascade being pushed all the way up towards Orb, right? So there's a possibility to play close to 410 and try to dismiss away here, especially when you have a Jet from Donut.
That's wild right now from Decimate. They're, trying to get up close. Zan using Emluo's wall. I'm sorry, Zan using Thea's wall against them there for a second. The wall went up, just saw the corner of Donut, drops him off screen, and that started the cascade into the round. That's wild. That's wild. It kind of actually was bumped off the wall. It does act really weird on the screens there sometimes. Yeah. 4K for Zan. Another round before that, picking up a 21-14 so far as FlyQuest go ahead, call the timeout to sort out this next gun round, how they can start to defend this. Because we said this composition from Decimate needs to look aggressive when they get on the attack side. And so far, they're doing just that. Zan, like you said, leading the charge. It was Rise on defense. They're being able to swap around that leadership right now of just who's fragging and who's leading the train. There's not enough not enough utility, rather, for FlyQuest to be able to stop DCM coming in over the ropes. The cascade blocking everything else so they can't work off the utility. Right, the darts being shot right away, and without Lace diving in, that's a drone. They don't have the numbers to get the trades in because DCM scales so quick. Yep. So really interesting at the pace Decimate's playing here. We're going to see a different look for them as they get a gun round, and after FlyQuest calls a timeout, so maybe slightly timid to the situation that FlyQuest could create here.
So there you go. The push up towards the pipes, a triple push off the timeout for FlyQuest to basically counter the scaling that DCM's been doing. But it's a very, very slow hit for Decimate to start. That alarm bot, the turret that gets broken towards the A main engages now DCM to group up and want to fight back against the 4 position pushes that we see on pipe.
FlyQuest.
Through the cascade as well, fully blinded by a Dizzy. A 1-for-1 though, at least, as the duelist is down on the defensive side and also on the attack. That makes less utility on the scaling that they have. The Lear was super important for the way they wanted to move up. So Decimate are moving back now. They haven't gained any map control around the B side though, Riv. So this is going to be really hard to read clear here when you really only have this Dizzy to work with.
A slow moving. Wall's finally going to go down. That's the peak that they get to work off of. But yeah, great spot on this alarm bot. Nobody really has to peek for the side of FlyQuest, so it's very safe for them. Seeing Killjoy, honestly, probably feels like a ruse to them. You see no movement right now from FlyQuest.
Yeah. They're reading this perfectly. And that recon art's going to secure it. Knowing the lurk is still there, and it's all the way towards the A side. You need those shots to hit. Reset on the aim. Nice ADS for that kill. Reposition. Molly in the front. Running through. Molly's actually on each other. Forcing him off the plant, and there's no time.
Oh. You saw the Sandra's vision there. Use the classic was coming out for the right click. And there was no time indeed. Holy moly. Yeah. This push... The quick frag before the Dizzy, like Dodo Nut. Like 130 MS reaction right there. Crazy, crazy stuff. Oh. Acrobatics in sight. Dang.
I wonder if Rise was trying to throw a wingman or something because they mollied the spot where she wanted to plant the spike. But it's self-inflicted damage. I'm pretty sure you have enough HP to at least put the plant down, but it doesn't matter. We're going to reset things around. Decimate doesn't want to give that momentum to FlyQuest instantly. Moving very quickly towards this B site. There's still utility to delay for a bit. Reckoning comes out, and DCM are looking for an open plant.
Pop flash mid allows this push, so there's a big rotation come over for FlyQuest. DCM has to do a lot of work here. That's a good start.
Great start, but unfortunately lost the forward spawn push from Zan. And that's an interesting one too, because the wall that came up did not allow for them to scale up towards the back if they wanted to. So you tried to do a space on your own. I mean, who to blame? Who to blame, right? She killed it last time on the A side hold.
Is crushing it.
More delays coming out though from the Pulse plant utility out of Decimate. Time for FlyQuest to move forward here towards yellow. Knife is going to remove a little bit of that utility. Comes down to the buddy system that works out for FlyQuest. Late lurk out for Carry. It's not planet for her, so she has to move forward. Will be heard. And here comes the sprays. The timing on that one instantly gets picked off as she was looking, just closing that gap for that spray. But FlyQuest, they tie the game 9-9.
Nice retake there. FlyQuest with that timeout recently, definitely able to kind of slow things down and get their pace on the game. We see the operator coming out, so they're going to be able to stop a lot of the aggression in its tracks if they can't push this operator off the angle. And you might do that for a second, but it's not a drone. You're not tagging. This should be a shooting range for Dodonut if the shots can hit. And look how much support Dodo's getting underneath, too.
And that's Norb to pick up the Hunter's Fury.
Good call. A lot of power for Fly this round.
Oh, a little late on ADSing there, but at least manages to get out of there safely. Sonner jumping up in the boxes to instantly get the pick onto Rise. So that's no wingman plant. DCM will have to start executing and pushing forward if they want to take this. Zan is staying behind, trying to make that noise, keep those players anchored on the A site. Well, once again, DCM is looking for a mid pivot. Alert coming out from Carry on the top of the tube. Trying to look back towards the boiler.
Yeah.
We cut noise.
Zan just, I feel like, wants to tempt this op or tempt to push. One shot missed, one shot force missed with that Leer. And Dodonut looking to hit the third one. Spikes towards B now. Good positioning from Thea in a deep anchor.
Oh, the fight close, and Lua gets the pick. Yellow is now cleared, giving a chance now for Decimate to move into B side and plant on top of that a pit to move forward. And just to... Oh, wait, we didn't break the nanostorm. That's going to do some little bit of damage there onto Mizu. The 4 players alive for FlyQuest. Trying to retake with... Oh my god.
What?
That's 3 kills now through smokes, all from FlyQuest. All from FlyQuest's favor. That's the pit down, and that's going to make the pulse plant a little bit harder. Especially if both players are split off. Carry trying to hold towards yellow. Taking off to the plant and crossover towards the end. There was miscommunication there for Lace to run out in the open like that. A retake now, even more difficult. The bounce across, close range tap on the spike, running behind the cascade. Beautifully done, knowing the spike is off. Mizu and Carry. It turned over 2 versus 4 in their favor.
It's hard to read, but the way... Just, I think, seeing this kill right here. It actually, right, you kill the Viper in the pit, and you're like, all right, let's move up, let's go. And nobody checks back towards mid. It seems like everybody's in front. A little bit of macro miss on that one to where and how the map was positioned from FlyQuest onto the side of DCM. A great push around from Carry to dismantle that retake along with Mizu. We're right back to A here. Good push again from FlyQuest. And DCM's ready to fight.
Yeah, the molly missed, so this is a great opportunity for Dodonut to get a position on top of pipes. A swing back from Lace, the fadeaway kill as Carry stays alive, wants to fight more, low on HP, trying to get more information, traded up by Mizu as the op shot missed, dashes away. Dodonut trying to re-peek out towards the belt. Oh, the barrel of the gun coming out from Mizu. Tries to bait out the shot. ADSing down, Sans gets the pick up the Dodonut, allowing now DCM to move forward. Wingman still up for grabs. Orb now picked up. Zen continuing to ADS down onto Sonder. Clearing up the site now is the Thrash. Zen trying to push back towards the back of the A site. And looks like FlyQuest, they'll wait off the high tide.
Man, these last few rounds, hats off to Decimate here. Making it such a hellscape for Dodonut to want to op in, for FlyQuest to know what part of the map is being covered. Yeah. DCM a really good read here in the second half.
There's a backstab through the screens. There you go. Mizu gets the pick. Map point now for Decimate. Wow. As all these clutches coming out from Mluo and the entries from Zan is really turning the tide over here for Decimate's Victor, unfortunately, sorry, they're at 11, but at this point, it kind of looks like they're going to win this map because
they're coming
all
up
over
from
there,
that point.
right?
That's what I saw you going with.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
This will be map point.
40. You're still trying to learn how to count.
FlyQuest Red, the timeout is called here, and nearly the final hour of map 1. Wow, we knew Zan was going to tempt the operator again. That is so much confidence. It wasn't even a leer. Just standing still with a Guardian on belt. It says, peek me. Just feeling on fire right now. Everybody is hitting shots for the side of Decimate, and it's hard for FlyQuest to gain ground. Each push-up that FlyQuest has done is snuffed out in some way, or Decimate doesn't retaliate. They understand the push-up happens, which is kind of crazy because it has to happen with their bodies, right? Again, they don't have the Sova. They can Dizzy, which gets shot, and you can predict where one Vandal or whatever shot it from, but they're just getting these push reads so well, absorbing the first bit of utility and hitting the shots on the way back. Can't deny that. I mean, sometimes that's all you got to say. They're hitting the shots.
Yeah.
And here we go.
When mollies are missing here too, you have the cascade that allows for you to scale up as well, and really that's what gave Zan the timing to be able to get on that belt and ADS down those 2 shots on the left of 410. This time the molly doesn't miss, but FlyQuest are out after this timeout. Looks like they were trying to do some sort of backstab on that mid. Aggressive push.
Yeah.
Pure Vandal for Starbound, but pistols for the rest.
Little dodge out. I did not know that Mosh went through the top window of that pillar. I love that.
Yeah.
I find
the lineup
Viper
there on
mollies
pipes.
to shoot through there, yeah. All right, they're pushing up pipes again. This one's slow. So they haven't had this read yet from FlyQuest defense. FlyQuest may be able to set up a bit of a trap.
Spike
Works
down
out there here.
A.
Rifle gets a first pick. They're going to try to cycle that out on the rest of FlyQuest. Lockdown here. Already initiated on the attack. Hunter's Fury to cancel it, but look at DCM backing up at the same time. So now they know the stack's towards the A site for Decimate, and it's a perfect read to fall back. Actually, they're cutting noise to try to re-hit.
I love how
Analyst gonna hear all
DCM
this.
leaves one person every time.
Yes.
So cool.
And the Cascade, too. The Cascade makes them think that they're rotating across. The knife, though, did
seconds
spot a few, including Zan. So they know the duelist is moving forward, but yet they got caught off at the dice. A dink coming through. The shots now landing in for DCM. And once again, you talked about being weary of the lurks and the flanks coming out from FlyQuest, but for the last few rounds that Decimate have been winning these post plans, they've had a lot of flanks themselves.
Yeah.
From the mid side, and that's not being covered here by FlyQuest.
It's wild to not see FlyQuest as active on the extremities of the map. With how much Decimate's hitting shots, maybe they don't want to go into that territory because this is a composition that sees you and runs you down. Like, they are not going to let you go if you are within reach. It's just how it works, especially Zan right now. Cascade into the Dizzy. They're trying to fire through, and again, free space gained here. Look how much pressure they can just start to put on. And it's pressure because they've been doing it and getting the rounds, right? FlyQuest has to respect it. Can't just sit back. Here we go. Empress is on.
Zad's pushing through. What an instant kill. Dismissed away. Lace doing whatever she can from the dice. A run up from the top. Never heard by Sonder. And the site is now open for grabs. Flat coming down. Defender locked down. Not hitting anything yet. And Zan still has a position at dice. Catches Starbound off guard. This might be it right here. It was only a matter of time until we had map point and potentially the victory here for Decimate, unless Thea comes up huge. IGL with the pit. No utility off the Viper to clear out corners. Back at the dice. Zan with the 4K. Another one in the round. And the first map now will be in Decimate's favor.
Oh my god. Name of first map, Zantastic. That's crazy. Great work all around from both. We had a very close first half, and then that comp on the second half is just gnarly. They are very angry, and they played it angry. That was really cool to see. And the way they macroed, again, the way that they always leave one person in sight, one lurker, and even so late, the timing just seemed to be there on that second half for the side of Decimate.
Yeah, that's a Decimate there. The rounds that they had that were very strong against Shopify Rebellion were all on the attack side. 5 out of those 7 rounds were on the attack, and we now see why they were able to get so many rounds of the attack. Well done for the team. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll have Split and a chance for FlyQuest to answer right back.
Hey guys, it's Jimmy Lin. In this series, I'm going to walk you through Attack on Pearl. Watch out for the stairs, clear this angle. You're going to be able to fight this.
Red Bull gives you wings.